This will be the last of what ended up being a three-part series about things to do on day one of WordPress. The first thing I'll say right here is about Guerrilla Warfare. It's the top post right now. It may or may not be depending on when you're doing this. But we wrote a post called Some WordPress Plugins Worth Using. And we cover out some of the different WordPress plugins that we've using, what we think of them, and why we chose to use them and how we use them. So I really think, there's a couple that we use too that I didn't put in there, but I mean, these are the big ones that I think everyone should use for a contact form, to automate the Google Analytics, to automatically, provide a sitemap. So every time you post new content, it automatically makes a new XML sitemap and submits that to all the major search engine. I mean, those are some things that can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. These can do it all for you automatically. So it is worth checking them out and trying if you're starting up on WordPress. But back to Julia Crane's blog. We'll keep this one short. First thing I want to cover is we already talked about posts. We've already talked about, you can just kind of say post as drafts, and so they don't go anywhere yet. It's just kind of while you're still working on them, that once you're done with them, you can either post them right there, or you can set them up to post at a later date or time, whatever you want. One thing I'm going to talk about too here is categories. And on categories, if you look over here at our dashboard on Guerrilla Warfare, actually now we'll go back to Julia's. Just some of the different categories she's got set up: coexist, giveaway. Okay, you can make these whatever you want, and basically what they are is it's just a way to organize your posts. So like with us, like I created a category called SEO articles, and all the articles I write about SEO I tag on there, and so I've got a little page with all, or a little widget on the side of our site, if you look right here, that has all of our little categories. So if someone clicks on SEO articles, it'll just pop up the 19 articles I've written so far about SEO, which is good because sometimes not everyone's interested in everything. It may get people to the site that are never going to write a book in their life, but they just want to read the SEO stuff, and vice versa, people that don't want to read that. So it's not the biggest thing in the world, but just kind of, give some thought whenever you get a chance to what categories you're going to use, get them set up, and you can go back in and assign even old posts. You can assign little categories. To go back here to Julia's site, we click on posts. You can see right here, and you can click on multiple things if we wanted to. We'll unclick those so we don't update them. And that's, there's a lot of different things you can end up doing with the categories too. Like I have a category set up to where by default, if a post is a member of that category, it doesn't get sent out to the RSS feed. And I actually talked about that a little bit why on my little WordPress widget post. So that's about enough of categories. It's, like I said, it's not the most important thing in the world, but whenever you get a chance, make up a couple and start assigning all your posts to them, because the thing you don't want to do is what we did, is when I ended up making up categories after the fact a little later, and then you have to go back through 100 posts and assign them all. That's just not the funnest thing in the world, so the earlier you do it, the better. One thing I'm going to show up, and it's this way by default WordPress, and I just noticed it on this one though. Click here to settings. Click on permalinks. Alright, this is very important. If someone's read my SEO articles, then they know that, basically you want to eke out every little bit of optimization you can. And by default WordPress, like the next post that Julia makes will be juliacraneauthor.com, P = 123. I have no idea what that's about. No one does. Google doesn't either. Yeah, it would still come up the same if you clicked on it and everything else, but it just really, Google does assign a certain percentage. It may only be 3 or 4% to the site's URL, and so you want your keywords in your URL. And so what you want to do is, you see you've got a couple different options down here. What I personally change it to, month and name. And so now, instead of your post being Julia Crane Author P123, Julia Crane Author 2011 09, and then whatever the title of your post is. So if this is a post about WordPress plugins, this right here will be WordPress plugins. Much more search engine friendly. It takes no extra effort on your part. I'll go ahead and change this for right now. There we go. I mean, there's just no reason not to do it. There really isn't. So I'm amazed that's not the default by WordPress. One of these years they probably will make it the default. Right here for Julia, we're not going to mess with this, but themes. If you installed WordPress, you have the default theme. You may never need to change it, but you can actually come in here to the different themes and actually modify the way that your theme looks, or actually come here to install themes and look through, and there's a ton of free ones, and you can choose different colors, different styles of background, all these different things to start playing with the look of your site. And there's a ton of websites out there that have free WordPress themes, and those are really as easy to install and configure as the plugins are. So like I said, I'm a big fan of WordPress. When I first made our site, actually for about 2 weeks, it was on Joomla because I thought that was the way to go. I thought it would just offer a little more functionality than WordPress, and I ended up scrapping Joomla and going with WordPress. And there's a lot of great Joomla sites. There really are. It's not like no one I'm going to say is probably better than the other. There's pros and cons to all of them. I love WordPress, and I'm a programmer myself. I've made a lot of web pages in PHP and HTML, but there's just a lot of little pain in the butt things to do when you're running a website that WordPress automates. And that what it's absolutely perfect for is Lizzie. Lizzie's not a computer person, but for her, whenever she wants to write a new article on the site, make an announcement, do whatever, it really is as simple as doing a Word doc. She just comes to posts, clicks on add a new post, types it up, inserts in a link, picture, do whatever, does the category, comes down here to the all-in-one SEO because I've trained her well, puts in the title, description, the keywords, saves it, and boom, it's on the website. Everything's fine and dandy. So, like I said, I love WordPress. I wouldn't, if you have a website that's working for you, I wouldn't say, oh, you need to chunk it and go to WordPress. But if you're still figuring out how you're going to do and deciding what you're going to do, I would definitely take a long, hard look at this. This is the end of the 3 videos. If you have any questions at all, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer it. Thank you very much. Hope these helped. Bye.